Well, hello to everybody. This is Charles Richard, and I am sorry that this is actually my third stream that I'm actually doing today. But I was very upset. And the reason why I am upset is because, well, you know, I actually pay for a service that actually allows me to use background music, and it just got demonetized, and copyright, and all this kind of stuff. And I said, wait a minute, that's I'm done with this. You know what I'm saying? I'm paying a monthly fee, okay, for this service, and then when I do a video, when it posts, it says that I have a copyright, that I have violated a copyright when that particular song is actually part of the selection. And so I'm just that's why we didn't hear no music, no nothing. So guess what? They can't do nothing now. So anyways, I'm sorry for that. But anyways, this particular stream that I'm doing right now has to do with the X webcam. That's the Fujifilm X webcam. And the Fujifilm on Friday actually released the Mac version for the X webcam. They already have a Windows version, and the Windows version works identically the same as the X webcam version for Mac OS. Okay, I want to reiterate that, and I want to get that out of the way first of all. Second thing that I want to actually talk about is that this X webcam software, I am actually using a Fujifilm X-T2 with an XC35mm f2.0 lens, and I've got that, and I'm actually using that to actually demonstrate the abilities that the X webcam has, which is really, I think it's great. So let me show you what I'm talking about. Okay, what you're looking at here, this is the actual view of the the X webcam software, the Fujifilm X webcam software from a X-T2. Now, there's a couple of things that you need to know. The first thing that you need to know is that in order to get it to work, once you download it, if you want to use the software, before you plug in your camera, you need to set up your camera. You need to set up your shutter speeds, your f-stop, your ISO. You need to set up the whole camera before you actually start your software. So what I do is I unplug my camera, and I turn my camera on, and I set all my settings that I want to set it and how I want to work with the camera. Then I turn my camera off, I plug my camera in, and then I turn back my camera on. Another thing, step number 2, is that your camera needs to be turned on before you start your software, or otherwise some softwares are not going to recognize it. As a matter of fact, I think that most softwares will not recognize it. So you want to start your camera, you want to turn on your camera before you turn on, for example, I'm using ECamm, or if you're using OBS or whatever software you're using, you've got to start turn on your camera first and start your software. It's actually, there really is no software, okay? It just runs in the background, and it just recognizes the camera. So once you turn on the camera, it's automatically going to recognize that. Okay, step number 3 is you need to, one of the other things that you need to do, okay, is you need to set your camera to, don't set it up on video mode. Instead, set it up on camera mode, on a single shot camera mode. And you also need to go under the wrench, go under where it says USB tethering. You set it to USB tethering auto. That's an important one for you. Other than that, pretty much however it is that you want the camera to look under your live stream, you've got to preset your camera. Right. So with that said, everything else works wonderfully. So let's go back to the camera. Okay, here's the camera. Here's a perfect selection of the camera. My particular settings on my particular camera, because of where I'm at, I'm in a cafe, and it's a little bit on the darker side. And I'm sorry that I'm kind of moving around. I'm sitting down on a table. So anyways, I've set my camera to my shutter speed 60 frames per second because it is important that you double your frame rate, and we're gonna see a perfect example right now because you're gonna see the capabilities of this software. I've got my camera to continuous autofocus. I did get a comment, I think it was yesterday, but I think maybe I saw it today, that it kind of said that the Fujifilm cameras hunt. Well, if they hunt, it's because you haven't set up your autofocus correctly. The autofocus system on a Fuji camera is totally different than those of a Canon. Canon is pretty much stupid safe, you know what I'm saying? In other words, what I mean by that is that you plug it in and it's got the dual auto pixel focus type thing, and it's good, but it's got a lot of drawbacks. And I this is about another video. I got to do another video about this, and I can show you what I'm talking about. The Fujifilm cameras, you really have to set it up, and once you set it up, it's just, works. It really works. But you've got to set it up for how it is that you're going to shoot. All right. So depending on your shot, depending on what it is that you're going to do with your camera, you need to think about it, and then you need to say, all right, I want my camera to focus on this pane, or my rear pane, or I want it to focus on my center pane, or I want it to focus on my front pane. I want it to act and react in a certain way. So all of that needs to be set up. So anyways, the reason why I actually am looking at the camera this way is because you can see there's the train, okay, and see how wonderful it works. It's not jumping, it's not stuttering, it's not doing anything. That's the Fuji system, and yes, here I'm in Orlando and I'm sitting right in front of the train station, and I think this is awesome, that you guys can see this, so you can see how well this X webcam works. It does work, all right, it does work. Now, there's some things that obviously, and guys, when something comes out for the very first time, there's room for improvement, and as it becomes more mature, more things are brought onto the table. Well, here's one of the drawbacks. I'm going to tell you a couple of drawbacks, all right, so that we are all on the same page, right? One of the drawbacks that this software has is that it doesn't bring over your audio. But if you're doing your web streaming, your audio is going to come from an external microphone. Usually, either you have a lavalier hooked on, or you have a Rode boom, or a boom microphone. It could be a Sennheiser, Shure, Rode, or whatever, AKG, Audio Technica, or whatever brand you use. Your audio can be coming into your stream that way. So that's not really important. Now, if you are using a HDMI instead of X webcam, yes, your audio, you can hook up your audio from your camera, and your audio can actually come from your camera, and that is the difference between hooking it up to an HDMI. But here's the reality, okay? And I think that Fuji actually did a great thing, and I think that they are really looking out for us, because here's what happened, all right? Ever since this COVID-19 thing happened, everybody started actually streaming from home, because teachers needed to teach your students, and now they couldn't go to class, so they had to teach through the internet via web streaming. So what happened was that all these Elgato, okay, capture cards, the regular HD capture cards, the 4K capture card that Elgato was selling for $130 was no longer available for $130 because now you got all these people that are price gouging, and I've seen these Elgato cards go as high as $400. Now that's ridiculous. Now, okay, so the Fujifilm X Webcam doesn't have the full capability because it doesn't have audio, but guess what? Okay, it will actually stream at 4K. Your signal that comes, if your camera has the capabilities to actually put out a signal, a 4K signal, it is going to carry over your 4K signal. I just tested it, all right, and it works with 4K. This particular stream, I'm not doing it at 4K because of my bandwidth of where I'm at. You know, my bandwidth controls and limits my ability to either do 4K or not do 4K, and because my model, the way that I am doing my live streams and my programming has to do with going to different locations, going to different cafes, different restaurants, different places, so you can see different things, right? And so every place that I go has different capabilities as far as bandwidth is concerned. And so when I look at these different capabilities, you know, I've got to be able to bring my stream to where my actual place has the capacity to physically broadcast. So this is why I'm not streaming in 4K. I am streaming in 1080 though, all right, so you're gonna see it in 1080. So anyways, getting back to the X webcam. Now, those are some of the limitations, all right? So when you're looking at an Elgato card, okay, whether it is HD or whether it is a 4K Elgato or any capture card, it doesn't have to be Elgato. There's other cards. As a matter of fact, there's a this is definitely, I gotta do a video on this because I just found a card that actually is running for about $20. It's not 4K, but it does 1080, you know, and it's the same thing as having an Elgato card, and it does do that, you know. It captures the capture card. It's an incredible price, you know, for around $20, you know, and it's really turning heads right now. But I'm not gonna really bring that into play. But I wanted to mention it anyways because I think that, you know, it's a good contender for this. Yes, those cars, those capture cars do have the capability of bringing the audio in. That's the only difference. Now, can this Fujifilm X webcam have that capability in the future? Absolutely. All right. And when I say this, I'm saying this because I've done a lot of programming. I know a lot about programming, you know, and I know a lot about audio and video. I know what software can do and what software cannot do. Now, because it's still in a development stage, you know, maybe with the next, upgrade or update or whatever you want to call it, is going to be able to do that. Another thing that I think that this particular X webcam software is able or is going to be able to do is that eventually we're going to see a Fujifilm X webcam software where when we are live streaming, we can actually adjust our cameras and we don't have to really, you know, unplug the camera, stop the stream, adjust the camera and set it prior to physically starting the software. So I think we're gonna see that coming in the very near future. So you guys, you know, just give it a chance. But right now, you know, it's a great option. It's free and it gives you the capability of using your cameras that actually are much better than using all these little Logitech cameras that everybody's trying to use. And look at the quality of the picture that you're getting. The quality is awesome. You know, it has that capability. It has that capacity, and I love it. I love what it's capable of doing. It's a definitely 100% yes for me. Excuse me. Now, let me get some of this. I'm not drinking coffee today because it's like 95 degrees out here. It's like really, really hot outside. And so I'm doing a Perrier water. Sorry about that, guys, but anyways, so getting back to this whole thing about setting up these cameras, I think that it's great. You're looking at it right now. The important thing to realize is that your camera, however or whatever way it is that you want to actually set your camera, it needs to be preset. And once you preset it, all right, then turn off the camera, plug in the cable, all right, turn on the camera, then start your streaming software. Then once you start your software, you're going to be able to see the camera, which is what we're looking at right now, and you can see the camera in a perfect streaming. You don't see it jumping, you don't see it doing any crazy things, you know what I'm saying? So I think that is a huge improvement that Fuji is actually thinking about people like us, which have cameras that we want to use for web streaming. Now, this particular software doesn't work with every single camera. It only works with a few cameras. Let me tell you what cameras they are. Right? This software works with the X-H1. It works with the X-T2, the X-T3, the X-T4. These are the only cameras right now that this particular software works. The new what is it? I think it's the X100 something, the brand new one that just came out. You don't need this software because the camera has the capability to stream automatically from within the camera itself. Excuse me. So this is one of the new cameras that Fuji designed that has that capabilities. But these other cameras that I mentioned, with this software, you have this capability to do this. The software recognizes once you start your camera, the software, whether it's ECamm, OBS, by the way, it works with ECamm, it works wonderfully with OBS. When you start your software, it sees it as a webcam. Now, the bad news is that under the macOS, I am running right now on my Macbook Air 2019. I'm running Catalina 10.15.5. That is the latest Catalina that is running, and I am able to stream at 4K. I am able to do everything at 4K without no issues. But what I have not been able to do is I have not been able to use this particular Fujifilm X Webcam software with Zoom. I have not been able to use it with Skype, and I have not been able to use it with FaceTime. These three softwares I have tried, and Zoom actually, somebody that actually knows Zoom, because I'm new to Zoom, told me that I had to do certain things, and I already tried it and it doesn't do it. So what I am going to do today is I have uninstalled Zoom, and I'm going to reinstall it. If maybe I need to reinstall Zoom with the software installed first so that it can recognize the software. I'm going to try that and see if it works. But so far, I have not been able to get it to work with Zoom. But if I do get it to work with Zoom, I will have an update for you and let you know what needs to be done so that it can work with Zoom. And that might just be the case because sometimes when you add software, it adds certain drivers and certain things in the OS, which you need to uninstall anything that was prior before and have it reinstalled so it can recognize these new drivers that are embedded within the OS. So I don't know if that is the scenario, and it might just be. So let's pray that it works. So let's find out, right? So with that said, This is the X webcam. It works wonderful. I love it. I love it. I love it. What else do I need to cover here? I want to be able to cover as much as I can. What else did I miss anything? Okay, I already told you guys about what it works with. Oh yes. Okay, here's another thing. All right, I do want to talk about this. Although your X webcam software from Fujifilm under the macOS, right? Although you have to preset your camera, and once you start your camera, you cannot adjust your camera. You can still have the capability to adjust the camera on some softwares, some streaming software, that is. All right. For example, on the ECamm software, when I use the ECamm software, my Fujifilm is seen as a webcam. So inside the ECamm software, I have capabilities to adjust things like the brightness, the saturation, the gamma, certain things that you can still adjust. Now you are adjusting those settings via the streaming software. In this particular case, it would be, for example, the ECamm software, because that is what I am using. All right, now the difference, okay, in how much you can actually adjust really is limited on your streaming software, which, for example, OBS is way better than ECamm, 10 times better, but it is also more complex and more difficult for you to learn how to use, because you really have to know and understand, frame rates and other complicated scenarios that as a beginner it's not really that friendly. It has a very deep learning curve to it, but if you are able to learn OBS excuse me, if you're able to learn OBS, guys, that is the professional software, not ECamm. ECamm is good. It's good, for example, for teachers that need to teach your students and you need to get up and running pretty quick. Yes, absolutely, it's awesome. It's great because you can also use it in conjunction with Zoom, and there's a couple of other platforms, right, that allow you to work with ECamm. But it is not, by no means, it is not as powerful nor as strong as the software of OBS. Now, here's a couple of other add-ons. For example, OBS gives you the ability to adjust your audio because with your audio you can add compressors, you can add limiters, you can add special EQs, parametric EQs, effects, delays, gains, all sort of things. ECamm doesn't allow you to do that. ECamm doesn't do that, and the other thing is that in the video side, right, talking about the video side, in the video side you have OBS gives you the ability to add what is called VST plugins that will control your chroma keying, all other things that ECamm is very limited on. So these other controls that you can do to your camera are done via your streaming software like ECamm or OBS. So just because the Fujifilm X webcam actually does not allow you to control your settings on your camera, it doesn't mean that is the total end of that for you, okay? Because these streaming softwares have the capacity, some of them, not every one of them, but some of them have the capacity to actually adjust your brightness, your saturations, and all these other things to kind of like compensate what you cannot do through your Fujifilm X webcam software. So anyways, that's the only thing I really wanted to talk to you guys about, and kind of explain that, so that don't think that you don't have the controllability. You do have the controls. You're looking again at this. What you're looking at is you're looking at the Fujifilm X Webcam running on a Mac OS under on a MacBook Air. All right, 2019 MacBook Air under the Catalina 10.15.5, and it works. It works. You are looking at here. It works really good, and so with that said, I want to thank you guys, for joining us today, and please, if you want to see videos like this, down here, please subscribe, because that actually helps me grow my channel, and it also helps me also do more videos like this, trying to hopefully help someone be able to do and be a better creator, so that when you do go on the air, or when you do record, or you do a photography, or your videotape, or any of or all of the above, so that hopefully what you hear from us here will help you be better and enhance your production value. Anyways, this is Charles Richard. Thank you so much for being with us, and until next time, thank you so much.